All righty. So this cool dude is from Belgium, right? That's all right, and I'm not going to do it. World traveler. I asked him the coolest place he's been, Singapore. Anybody else been to Singapore? You're the only one, bro. So if you tell them anything, they'll believe it. His flight here was 36 hours. Got hung up in Germany, little passport visa thing. I'm sorry. Once again, I apologized. He is a DJ, right? And are you a cool DJ? Or you you that kind? Oh, he a DJ. But here's the most important thing. Certified beer dude. Like, he got his papers on beer. So he could tell the difference between any kind of beer. He told me, I guess this was just to rub it in. He says, I'm 26 years old. Jerk. I was 26 about 700 years ago. Oh, wait, let me find out. Is anybody younger than 26 in here? You don't count. No, you don't count. No, not you. Anybody else younger than 26? All right, so we got a kindergartner giving us our next presentation. At some point, we'll stop for a nap break. You good, man? All right, he's going to let me slide on the last name. Is it Elian? Elian. All right, he said I don't have to try the last one because it would be awful. And if I did it, it would be terrible. All right, give it up for Elian, the DJ.
All right, thank you. Not a DJ anymore, though. Not really. At least I'll explain the story whenever I get to it. First of all, sorry I didn't really dress up. I flew all the way from Belgium, and it was kind of not easy to get all the stuff here. But my friends call me Steve Jobs. You can probably see why. But with dreads, because yeah, that's a feature I have. But to show you like how I would look like, I asked Gemini. This morning, actually, this is a picture here in front. I was like, oh, can you make me Steve Jobs? And Gemini just responded with a picture of Steve Jobs. So we're basically lookalikes. And I said, no, I don't recognize myself, so can you please make it closer to me? And it returned the same picture. And I said, no, I have dreads. Can you please add that at least? And it returned the same thing, but with a black color. So I guess you can call me Steve Jobs. Now, who am I really? I'm Elian, of course, as you know by now. I'm the CTO at Vulpo, which is a Belgian tech firm. It's quite small. I'm also the lead developer relations at React Bricks, which is a CMS company. I maintain Astro, which is an open source framework for JavaScript, if you've ever heard of it. I organize conferences like React Paris, React Brussels, React Africa, and maybe some more in the future. I do devs.gent, which is a local meetup in my community where I live. I also have my own company, but I'm not going to bore you with all of that stuff today. And when I talk about Belgium, it's not this Belgium. I don't know why, Massachusetts. I think it's the state that stole it. Very sorry. No, I talk about this one. That is Belgium. And yes, your state is about 4 times bigger than my whole country. That's another story, and I cannot handle that. But yes, on my way here, this is in Germany. I had a layover there, and I was like, oh, fine, cool, I can get a German beer, get them annoyed about the sugar thing. It's a whole Belgian-German fight over beer, you know, total thing. And I posted this picture on Instagram, like, oh, I'm leaving Munich on my way to Jackson, and then I was stuck in the airport for another 24 hours because my visa was invalidated, and I was stuck there. All good. I was just, oh, I'm here anyways, let's get another beer and a schnitzel, because, yeah, of course, if you're in Germany, you got to have a schnitzel. Then a pretzel, which is also very much that thing. And then I was allowed on the flight and came here finally. So yeah, the travel was long. Thank you, Josh. So yeah, I'm here. Belgium. When I talk about Belgium, this is the real Belgium. Fries, beers, chocolates, waffles, the good shit. Yes, it's not fries. You call it French fries. But I will explain you why. We call it fries. And actually, I'm an intellectual, so I know why it's called French fries. And it's not because of the French people. It's because it's an old word that's not used anymore. It's a verb that's called to slice, basically, or to French something. It means to cut something. That's why it's called French fries. All right, enough about Belgium. Let's get serious. Well, not really, because my talk is not supposed to be serious. It's supposed to be fun. Because over the past year, I gave a lot of talks all around the world, as the MC explained as well. And all about very serious topics like accessibility, performance, how do you do X and Y. And it was super cool, but I thought like, this year I'm going to turn it up and make it a little bit more fun. Because if we're sitting here 8 hours a day looking at talks, which is great, by the way, you all did great, but sometimes it can get a little bit boring, and I'm here to wake you up again. When I say a lot of talks, this was my flight map last year, so I did quite a couple. Today I'm here to talk about the weird web and make the web weird again, because we lost that skill. Ever since I was a little boy, I really loved the web weirdness. I'm sorry. And I can remember myself sitting in classrooms. Yes, we had internet and computers in my classroom. I'm not that old, I know, sorry. And going to this website, and also, yeah, playing pinball, that was my thing. So yeah, I'm that old. And this one, we actually started yesterday in slideshow as well, and amazing. I was like, oh, it's also in my slides, cool. Let's bring the weird web back. Do you know this website? That's one that she didn't show yesterday, but I really love it. I'll quickly show it off, because it's one of my favorite things, and I still have it today. Yeah, see? If you move the mouse, the eel follows, and you can just slap him as much as you want. So if you ever feel frustrated, just go to eelslap.com. It's this website. I can do it all day. I really love it. All things serious. So when I started coding in JavaScript, I was like, oh, cool, I can do a lot of things with it. It's the language of the web, and it's so versatile. We can do so many things with it. If you can imagine it, you can build it. So let's try some weird stuff today. I'm going to run you through some very simple code and very stupid examples with that code, because that's what I love doing. It's building stupid things. For instance, have you ever heard of Arc Browser? Probably you have. Who has used it in the past? Quite a couple of people. Okay, cool. It actually injects a color palette every time in your CSS variables. Site can look like this in just a normal Chrome browser. Arc. Then actually, whoops, this one, it's blue. And what's the difference? Well, it's because I use those variables in my website. And when I change my Arc theme, for instance, you have something here called theme color. Now I can go all around, and my website is suddenly interactive. Now we have an interactive website. Cool. That's CSS, that's not JavaScript. Well, you can do stuff with it. But also there is something that you can do with APIs. For instance, view transitions. Who has used view transitions by now? Okay, a couple of the nerds, cool. View transitions is an amazing API. It's now all stable in every browser, every major browser, I should say. But it's kind of complicated. It's a little bit easier in Astro. I will not go into details. I'm a maintainer of Astro, blah, blah, blah. Doesn't matter too much. We can just do transition animate, transition name, blah, blah, blah. But what you can build with it is actually pretty cool. Let me quickly get my Arc back up. For instance, this is just a basic one. When I click, actually, it's not switching pages. It's not doing any JavaScript. It's just all CSS. And that's really cool. Because if you go wild with it, you can actually do way more stuff. Like this is the pond, we call it. This was like an when we try to do view transitions. You can actually click on north, south, and this is all no JavaScript. This is only HTML and CSS. So you can just transition between pages, go back in pages, navigate forward in pages and stuff like that. It's pretty cool. Is it useful? Well, in this way, maybe not that much. I'm trying to navigate with one hand here, sorry. Right, so now it is also in Firefox. It was the last one. Now it's there. Really cool of them. Nice. And of course, that's all CSS still. So what can we do with JavaScript? JavaScript is actually way more intense because we can program it. Well, did you know that the browser actually has a lot of APIs that we're never using and never have heard of? For instance, the battery status API. There is one. So basically, your navigator exposes a thing called battery, and we can use that. So if I take a quick look in my browser here, I'll just get my Arc up, and I can see, hey, this is my web page. And my web page for now is only 81% visible, because I actually put it in the opacity, and now I have a fading web page. And I actually have a plug here. I'm not going to plug it in, doesn't matter too much. But we can also get like, is it charging? Is it not charging? What can we do with it? And that's pretty cool. Now, the reason that this exists, well, it doesn't exist in Firefox, and they also have a very good reason for that. It's because Firefox says like, oh, we're privacy, blah, blah, blah. Well, I don't think you can do a lot with it. especially since it's not supported in Firefox and Safari. But actually, is it useful? Yeah, it totally is, because imagine that you're able to read out the battery and see, oh, this user only has 20% battery left. Maybe let's shut down animations. Maybe let's tone down on the performance that we're using and all of that stuff. So it's definitely useful. I just misuse it because that's what I love doing. Misuse. So mine built this app. Dries de Poort, also a fellow Belgian guy, he lives 3 streets next to me. He built an app called Die With Me. And basically the only thing it can do is use the app in 5% battery. And you're all in one chat room together, and you just wait until your battery dies. And that's the only thing it does. So pretty fun. Web HID, who has heard of Web HID? Because that's a bigger one. Okay, a couple of people. Cool. Web HID is basically human interface devices. Think of PlayStation controllers, think of Bluetooth, all of that stuff. Also Bluetooth is web Bluetooth, not exactly the same, but it's also HID. Super cool for accessibility features. But also super easy in JavaScript. That's the only code there is. How can we misuse it? Well, I built a thing. I'll show you quickly the code here. So that was Arc, so you see no JavaScript there. This was the battery one, doesn't matter too much. Yeah, so I built a registry, and the registry is working on this box. This box is actually for sound. Doesn't matter too much part, but what I can do with it is press buttons. And if you have a button on a Web HID enabled device, you can do something with it. So if I open my browser and go to Web HID, connect to the device, it will say Vulpo, which is this one. So it says paired because I've connected it before. I connect to it. Now I'm connected to the device. And when I click on my buttons here, suddenly I have color changes because each of the 4 buttons that I have is tied to a color space. And now I can combine colors. Of course, not useful here. It injects just variables. That's not the point. The point is that you can actually use it for accessibility features. So is it useful? Hell yeah. Also, not very well supported. It's still in experimental, sadly enough. But they're working on it. Also, it's nowhere available on any mobile browser, which is a shame to me, because if you're having accessibility issues, I think mobile devices are the first thing you have with you at all times. So yeah, that's another pity of me. So definitely the vibration API. Did you know that it exists? Where you have your phone and you can just inject some JavaScript in it and just say start vibrate. It works on also on mobile devices. And now you know why I carry 2 phones, because it doesn't work on Safari on iOS, but it works on Samsung. So I can use it as a vibration API. That's cool. Is it useful? This is one that I struggle with to find actually useful values. Vibrating is cool. You can use it like if you're using a CMS or something on your phone, you edit something, maybe give feedback to the user that you're actually saving something, whatever. You can do it. Web MIDI. This is one that I gotta talk about because it's very close to my heart. Quickly get my phone so I can move the slides here. So that's me. Long ago, I think I was 18, 17 years old at that time. I used to be a DJ, as I said earlier. And I did a lot of DJ gigs and it was a lot of fun. But I wanted to go analog because I was always very busy digitally, doing a lot of tech stuff in front of my PC all the time. I started working in tech. So I spent a lot of time behind digital screens. And I was like, oh, I want to take it back analog. So I was working on analog vinyl discs here, spinning discs analog, mixing music. It was a lot of fun. And then I got into guitar because it was another thing that I could do analog. It's a lot of fun to learn. So I did what I would do and buy another guitar. And another guitar, an acoustic one. Who's got one guitar? No, you always need at least 4. It's very much a thing. But I want more, because I'm a Belgian, we're into rave, steam, all of that stuff. Myself, a 606 and a 303. I don't know if anybody, but it's analog. And there comes the sound out. And that's pretty cool. But of course, as always, you need one more. And that's the one that I've got with me today, and you'll see why in a second. Transforming in the studio there, because I need to control all of it, because one is never enough. and my stuff. So yeah, yeah, it happens. But the screen there, I just find it a lot of fun that I riddle and buttons and suddenly it's just a clock, and that clock is called MIDI. Available in your browser. So we can get it here. So yesterday I was speaking with Josh, and I was like, "Oh, if I were to do something live tomorrow with sounds, what should I do?" And he was like, "Oh, church bells. We're in the Halloween theme. Let's do something with church bells." It's available in almost every major browser, not in Safari. So let me quickly get it up. Oh, maybe I should show that as well. If I go back to my keynote, there is flashing colors here. So if everybody is okay with that, I'll go on. I'm quickly going to put the mic down. Can you still kind of hear me? Yeah. Okay, perfect. The code I'm not going to go too deep into because it's not that important. It's the fun that is important. So what can I do? I can log in into my music box. And my music box, of course, ghastly. The cool thing is when I play on my actual synthesizer here, it starts dancing. And the thing is, normally here, we would actually have flashing colors, and I will show you how that looks, because when I was boarding the plane and testing my setup, I saw that I forgot one cable. There is no USB cables here, it's all sound and MIDI. That's what it's supposed to look like. But sadly, I cannot react to MIDI. I can only do the clock. But I can still do a song. Do you want to hear a song? Okay, let's try it. I'm not sure what it's going to give. Because I have some sounds. Sound guys, can you make sure there is sound? I will also do that. Give me a second here. So since it was not working with HDMI before, I have to open OBS, which is routing the music. Doesn't matter too much. If it comes in here. Okay, now we can hear a bell. I'm going to put it a little bit louder. Is that okay? Okay, perfect. Just making sure I'm not... Let me get some sound going. But also, I can do some drum and bass with it, and that's a little bit cooler because that goes faster. So let me go here. Which sounds have I selected? Stuff, you know. That's all powered by Web MIDI, by the way. Okay. So is it useful? Well, in this case, no. You can do some cool things with it though, because all of this, that's my home studio, as you know. It all, like for instance, I can trigger lights with it over MIDI protocol, and that goes to Web HID, for instance. So you can do a lot with that if you want to. I must be honest, I don't really have used it in a useful way, but also playing is a lot of fun. Let me get my remote back up. All right, and of course, these are just some of the APIs. There is so many more web APIs that we underuse. And typically I say like use the platform, and that relates a lot to my work at Astro, where I'm like all for web native stuff, and we stay close to HTML and CSS, and then a little bit of JavaScript, but not too much. But also sometimes you gotta abuse the platform because it's a lot of fun, and you learn while doing that. And this idea very much translates to how I approach open source. Because sometimes you just want to make a project that makes somebody else smile, and that's a lot of fun. If I come across a cool project, I just start it, I leave a comment, and it's a lot of fun because you keep motivated that way. Because our job is supposed to be fun. A lot of people are struggling with burnouts these days and stuff. If we're 8 hours doing our job, we can at least make it some fun. And that's why I built Meeting Excuse. Meeting Excuse is a website where you can generate meeting excuses, because nobody likes doing meetings. And yes, it has a pro plan for $1 a month. Like for instance, this one: apologies for the delay. My environmentally friendly electric vehicle is undergoing a software update, basically. And that's cool. It has a pro mode, all of that stuff. And I actually have 3 paid subscribers. Getting that revenue there. Now, why did I actually build this? Because this is just a stupid example of the point I want to make. And that is, the app itself is not useful, of course not. But while I was building this app, I learned new things. And the new things I learned here was AI, ChatGPT wrappers, because that's what you're supposed to do these days. Also, like I learned Laravel, a couple of things with database, checkout forms, and that stuff. And this is way much more fun to build something like this than just another to-do app. Because the to-do app, you don't learn the framework with that, believe me. Now, is it ethical? That's a different question. And I have a different talk about that, about AI ethics and stuff, so I won't go into deep. But imagine, do you remember this trend on Twitter, like not too long ago, that everybody was doing that? Well, actually, somebody built a site, and it's ghibligenerator.com. Looks like that, and you can basically just say, hey, I want a picture like that. Everybody has ChatGPT for free that can do that. But people sometimes just exploit other people by building something, and because they have to control the prompt, they can just easily do it. Super simple. And then I saw this. ChatGPT keeps inserting things into my backgrounds that I don't ask for. Is this product placement? But imagine if it was. For instance, this is a picture of me in Singapore, actually. Imagine that I placed it in ChatGPT and I got this out of it. But do you see it? That in the side corner there is a can of Coke? Well, what if Coca-Cola has a sponsorship with ChatGPT, and now suddenly we're all generating images like we do all days, and I did just a Steve Jobs picture, and there was suddenly a can of Coke in the background. We're getting influenced, and that is a little bit of the nightmare. Oh, my phone is not responding anymore. Because it's just GPT wrappers, and people seem to forget that. Another thing that is a ChatGPT wrapper, and I'll give you a quick tip on that. You remember that you have like Google AI mode now and stuff. It's super cool if you use it like this, but I will give you a quick tip that you can misuse if you have a husband or wife or like a partner or something. Well, if you say, is pizza healthy? It will almost always respond with, no, it's not healthy because reason X, reason Y. But if you ask it, hey, why is pizza healthy? Then it will say, oh, pizza can be healthy. Because that is how GPT works. You can totally misuse it. That's a quick tip for you. It's LLM, it's not truth. So yeah, that's just a lot of the weird thoughts I have on daily things, just to explain that I built an AI ChatGPT wrapper for $1 a month. Yeah. So everybody, I'm Elian. I love to keep the web weird. Thank you very much.